Ever typed a long prompt, still got an answer that missed the mark? Today, we can fix that with APE, APE, Action, Purpose, Expectation. 3 lines, 20 seconds, big clarity. I'll show you 2 quick examples, then we'll unpack how we can use it across lessons, marking, differentiation, without bloating your prompts. Welcome back to the Teacher's AI Cafe. I'm Kane, a full-time teacher, helps other teachers to win back their time, reduce their mental load, and improve their work-life balance using practical AI workflows. The show is about quick wins that can make your planning lighter and your learning stronger. In this short episode, we'll use APE Framework, Action, Purpose, Expectation, to make your prompts cleaner, your outputs more teachable, and your evenings hopefully a little freer. So what is APE? APE is a simple scaffolder for most teaching tasks. First one is action, what the AI must do, which is a verb and a product. Purpose, why do you need it? Explain how you're actually going to use it. Expectation, what the output should look like, format, sections, tone constraints, and so on. It mirrors teachers' clarity, the what, the why, and the how, and lets you tune Bloom's level of action verb. Naming the purpose keeps the model focused on outcomes that actually saves you a bit of time. One quick example, lesson warm-up. Action, generate 8 retrieval questions on medieval Europe. Purpose, activate prior knowledge and surface misconceptions for a Year 8 class on the feudalism. Expectations, 4 short answers plus 4 multiple choice, 1 minute each, include an answer key. In my case, I put Australian English or whatever language that you like to work in. Nice and simple, you'll get good results. Second example, marking notes. Action, analyse a Year 11 modern history paragraph. Purpose, prep targeted feedback for a 5-minute student conference. Expectation, 5 dot points, 5 strengths, 5 fixes, 1 next step, and student friendly, no grades, just feedback. So how do we use APE? So in these examples, you'll see they're a lot simpler than some of the other prompts that I've actually outlined. So what we want to choose a precise action. So pick a Bloom's appropriate verb and concrete product. Design a 40-minute mini lesson with model guided independent practice that beats explained topic, such and such. We want to write with real purpose and being concise. Say how you use it. Projector modeling, LMS scaffold, small group research, parent note. The model then prioritizes timing and readability in scaffolds. That lowers your actual workload because it's doing the work for you. And number 3, tighten up the expectation. Names, actions, word counts, spelling, in my case, Australian English again, syllabus codes and constraints. For example, could be no new content beyond the text provided, so it stays within what the students have actually already learned. If it's for students, say plain language. Or if it's for you, you might say dot points if you want to use it as opposed to the students. The idea of the model is to move towards a more of a concise, short model to achieve what you want to do. Some classroom things you can do with this. Obviously planning, action, outline the purpose, sequences, expectations. 5 times 60-minute lessons with LISC, warm-up, core, and an exit ticket. Differentiation, action, which is an adapt. Propose mixed literacy, expectation 3 levels, 120, 180, 240 words, and so on. Marking, analyze. What's its purpose? Is it for a conference, one-and-a-half meeting? Is it for feedback within class? Is it post-assessment feedback? And then tell it how you'd like that feedback coming out to it. A 5-line summary. Strengths, weaknesses, reteach action. Identify misconceptions. You could put an existing lesson, tell it to reteach tomorrow. Expectations, top 3 items and 10-minute reteach and 3 checks in terms of what you want to produce. When APE isn't enough. Now, for multi-step workflows, data analysis, lesson plan, parent email, you can use APE as a spine and then add short specific under expectations. If you need a persona, you need to have one up front. So act as an ATAR marker, act as curriculum designer, but you still want to keep APE central. So in terms of getting quality out of it, generic output probably means your action is vague. If you're on target, you didn't put a very clear purpose in the model. And if it's messy or it's too long, the expectations lack the formats and the limits rounded. So you need to really define the output you actually want from it. How can we put this into practice? So ancient history is tomorrow. You want a quick primary source tool. Action, create a 15-minute source analysis using a short excerpt about mummifications, and you would upload the primary source. I would. I'll model sourcing and inferences as a bridge between the recap and the main task. Expectations. Give a cited 80 to 100 word excerpt, 3 questions, source, inference, collaboration, a 2 to 3 sentence model. Question 1 and a 1 minute teacher note for likely misconceptions. That's it, copy and paste. When I look at an excerpt, that might happen when you've got a very long text and you just want to grab a small excerpt out of that primary source and make that available, just to clarify what I was meaning there. APE gives you just enough structure for 90% of teachers' tasks. And being honest, there are better prompts if you want something a lot more detail, a lot more depth. I would use one of the different prompts, for example, such as Risen, to actually then get a more detailed response than using APE. Like I said, it depends on the model and the task you need to get done. You can use different models at different times. An example of model is retrieval warm-up for Year 8 medieval history. So action, generate 8 retrieval questions on medieval Europe, feudalism, the church, and daily life. Purpose, use a 10-minute start to activate prior learning and spot misconceptions in a mixed literacy class. Expectation, provide 4 short answer, 4 multiple choice, and label difficulties of them, say 1 or 2, so students know which questions are harder. Include an answer key, the fit on a half of an A4 page, so that way I can then chop it up really easily if I'm doing a paper version for that. As we see for these models, they're quite short. I'm not going to go through all the different models that you can do, but if you go to the Facebook group, you can see the other models then provided, and you can then look at them. Things like midweek planner, conference brief, level reading adaptation, because I've covered a lot of these in my other models, and they use similar language. So certainly download the text, you can get access to all of them. I hope you found it actually useful. And like I said, go to the Facebook group, download the cheat sheet for lots of more examples on that. APE is something I would use if I'm doing something quick, maybe on the fly in the classroom, where I need a very short, concise response for a particular activity. That may be, like I said, a retrieval activity, an exit ticket, or I realize halfway through the class I need to modify my exit ticket. I can then use APE format to do that very quickly for myself. Or if I've got one student that comes to me with a particular problem, I can generate a whole lot of questions to give them additional practice to hopefully reinforce or bridge the gaps what they're actually struggling with in the classroom. And normally I do that after discussion, explain what the concepts are, give new questions for them to do, and then get them to come back to me so we can revise them and give them that additional feedback and see whether they now understand the concept. So thank you for listening today. And after this episode, there will be another short prompt model that you can use. Do listen to them all because they all have different advantages on them. As always, if you've got colleagues interested in AI, haven't really dipped their toe in it yet, do pass on my podcast to them. Get on and give me a rating, give me some feedback that'll lift me in the rankings. So while I'm getting new listeners every week, I like to get to as many people as I can because I feel these little hints are really useful and people can use them straight away. Till then, keep up the really good work, and I'll talk to you in the next episode.